Time to tune in. Now another Sports Center. It's a movement.
Now the next conversation, and please note, y'all, these are the way too early predictions, okay? But this is a fun conversation we like to have every year of who do we think is going to be the most valuable player of the year, MVP, offensive player, defensive player, offensive rookie, and defensive rookie, okay? Now we're going to go ahead and kick it off with our MVP predictions for the 2021-2022 NFL season. MVP, I'm going to go ahead and kick it off for this one. There is, it seems that most years it's a quarterback who ends up getting it, and every now and then there's a running back who takes and gets edged out. But I'm gonna take and give it to Mr. Pat Mahomes. I feel like the Super Bowl really took and humbled him last year. Okay, I feel it, that loss was rough. You know what I mean? It's like daddy came through. He's like, no, son, this is how you throw football. And he did his thing, Mr. Tom Brady. We ain't going to take away nothing from him. But Pat Mahomes is, I see the man getting another possible, 2 to 3 more rings. So many amazing things happening in Kansas City. They retained so many Super Bowl teams. I can name the Ravens from a few years back and so forth. And many teams that they win a Super Bowl and they lose a lot of those pieces. The Philadelphia Eagles a few years back, the 49ers, just those are a few examples of teams who've been to a Super Bowl within the last decade. And right after, whether they win or they lost a whole bunch of pieces. Well, not the Kansas City Chiefs. They reloaded. They had an awesome, outstanding draft. And I got Pat Mahomes winning the most valuable player for the 2021-22 season. What you guys got?
I think that's a solid pick, man. Hopefully not. As a Denver fan, I'm so sick of Patrick Mahomes, I can't even explain it. I'm going to take something a little bit different approach. I think Derrick Henry, especially with an extra game, having 17 games in the season, and as the second half of the season starts to roll on, Derrick Henry really starts exploding his numbers. So I think that coupled with the extra game, I think he could rush for, 23, 24, or 2,500 yards, honestly, this year. I think he could have a monster season. So if they're competitive like they've been the last few years, he gets them maybe a top 2 seed. I think he has a very good chance of, breaking that quarterback train and winning it, man. That guy, nobody wants to tackle. We see his training in the offseason. He's always prepared. He doesn't really have many injuries, and he runs so violently, man. It's like, I don't care who you are. It's beautiful to watch that guy run. He's the best running back in the NFL, in my opinion. So I think I would go non-quarterback and go with him because I think he's going to throw up crazy numbers, especially with the moves they made on offense and having that extra game.
I like it a lot. I think I can see legitimate arguments, and I was actually thinking Derrick Henry. Man, I'm at a toss-up for the two that I have. You know what? I'm gonna go with Tom Brady, MVP of the league. I think this will be his final MVP of the league. I'm not saying this is his final year playing in the NFL, but I do think that this is going to be his final career MVP. The reason why I'm saying that is because reports are, and we don't know how true this is, it could just be them, trying to bolster the legend that is Tom Brady. But reports were that last season he played it entirely with MCL tear, I believe. And that he did have surgery in the offseason to get that repaired. So it's not like he was a mobile quarterback anyway, but I can't imagine playing a season on a torn MCL. It does, playing through pain. It kind of forces you to alter your game in ways that you don't want to do that. So for him to now go into his second year in an offense that he now knows, where they brought 100% of the championship roster back, he has the chemistry with those wide receivers and the familiarity with that playbook. You're not going to see a Tom Brady who's going to spend, half a season just trying to get acclimated to the situation down there. This is a guy that's going to come in from day one. He commands the respect of that locker room, not like he didn't last year anyway, but the fact that he just helped them cement a championship, that's a whole nother level of respect. Everybody is chomping at the bit to be, run it back for another ring this year. I definitely think that we're going to start seeing him kind of how he played down the stretch before the Super Bowl but actually before the playoffs, the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl where he was throwing all those interceptions. But I would say those last few weeks of the regular season where he was very, very deadly. People were saying, "Oh, Tom can't throw it over 10 yards," and he was throwing absolute strikes with just nasty, nasty force behind it, to the point that Mike Evans was not catching these balls. So expect that Tom Brady to come out. He just dropped a little clip on his Twitter of him throwing footballs back at the what do you want to call it? It looks like the pitching machine or whatever, where they're throwing the football and it throws it back. There's arguments that it's doctored, that the video's fake, whatever. But Tom Brady looks completely at ease. He looks completely in his element. And if nothing else, the man is ready to compete. He's going to be chasing that 8th ring. And I definitely think he's going to put an MVP caliber performance on display this season.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, on the real, it could be any one of those. I'm not a gambler, but if I did, I'd love to put money down. That's dope. All right. So the next, we're going to talk about the next prediction that we have here is going to be for the offensive player of the year. Now, oftentimes people who don't win the MVP, let's be real, MVP 9 times out of 10 is going to take and be an offensive player, either a quarterback, running back, or even occasionally receiver. But there's some candidates in here that, I really, really like. And so I'm going to go ahead and kick this one off. For my offensive player for the 2021-2022 way too early prediction edition, I have Alvin Kamara. I got Alvin Kamara man. My man could literally have an 1,800-yard season, man. I think it's going to be close between him and Derrick Henry, especially since Drew Brees is not there. One of the best ways you can make Jameis Winston take and feel more comfortable is to take and give Alvin the ball. Plus, Mike Thomas, he's not going to be there for a few weeks. Give Alvin Kamara the ball. They still got a pretty solid O-line down there in New Orleans. That's one of the pieces of offense they were able to hold on to. And I think he's going to really do a lot of things, and he's somebody you could take and dump the pass with. He in other words, he's a running back who could take and catch the ball. So that's somebody who I like a lot as far as offensive player of the year prediction. Who you guys got?
Yeah, I think that's a solid choice, man. I think for the NFC, I would go with Matt Stafford. I truly do believe with him putting him with Sean McVay is going to put him in the MVP discussion if they have a solid record. But I think Matt Stafford has always been a baller, and I think him being with probably arguably one of the top 3 offensive minds in the NFL can put him on track if they win like they're supposed to. And then as far as the AFC, I'm gonna go with Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen, a second year in that with that team that they have, is going to make them very dangerous, him and Stephon Diggs. So I think AFC, I'll go with Matt Stafford, or NFC rather, in the AFC, I'll go with Josh Allen.
Love it.
Man, Mike, good picks again. I was also going to say Matt Stafford in the NFC. Actually, Matt Stafford was the guy that I was really toying with for the MVP, but I'm trying not to be too much of a homer here. But if I have to say NFC, I'm sorry. It has to be Matt Stafford, right? Because if he's going to be second on my list for MVP, I definitely think he's going to put up numbers. I think possible 5,000 yard season. He has weapons out there at wide receiver with the Rams. You've got the offensive play calling of Sean McVay. We're going to see what happens with the running game with Cam Akers going down for the season before the training camp starts. I definitely think that's going to pose a problem, but Sean McVay seems to be very confident in what he has in-house. We'll find out. And if he doesn't find, what he likes in-house, there's going to be some kind of free agent that's going to be available. One of these veterans, expect a Mark Ingram and Adrian Peterson. I wouldn't count too much on a Todd Gurley reunion, but one of those guys will come in and fill the slot and it'll be serviceable. We'll have that balance. So for NFC Offensive Player of the Year, I got Matt Stafford. AFC Offensive Player of the Year, I want to go Derrick Henry. It makes too much sense not to go Derrick Henry. But I'm going to throw a wrench into it, and I'm going to also offer a quarterback from the AFC West, not named Patrick Mahomes. It's going to be Justin Herbert. I think he's going to make the leap this year. No sophomore slump for him. I really liked what I saw from him last season. Yeah, he was kind of wild. Yes, he did throw some interceptions, and we had questions about the Chargers organization as a whole, their ability to close the game. But you like what you saw from the young quarterback, pretty fearless in the pocket. He displayed mobility, a strong arm, and I think, a second year in the NFL, granted, it's going to be a new offense this year. It's going to be Brandon Staley as his head coach. So maybe that doesn't allow him to leap like we think he is, but we hope that he's going to have a healthy cast of characters around him. Guy is poised for, I would say, at least a 4,000-yard season.
Love it. I love it. I love it.
And I think, man, with Justin Herbert, I know people love him, man. I think second year takes out on you now, right? So I think the team's defensive coordinators are going to find a way to stop him. Man, I would realistically throw Tua having a better chance of being, offensive player of the year than Justin Herbert, just because the weapons they have, continuity with that line, and they actually have some weapons on the air now. I think Justin Herbert, man, with a new offense, that's going to hurt him. With a consistently injured receiver in Keenan Allen, that's going to hurt him. And the fact that the Broncos, when we played the Chargers, put a pretty good game plan together to kind of stop him. Team is a copycat league. Teams are going to figure out, hey, if he's consistently struggling with this stuff, they're going to try to attack him those ways. So I definitely could see the argument. I don't know. I had to see it again first.
That's fair. That's fair enough. I just put it this way. I trust his arm more than I trust Tua's any day of the week.
Y'all are evil. No, sorry. Hey, just so y'all know, I'm a Miami fan. It's all good, though. It's all good. We welcome different opinions on the show. All right. So the next the next topic we're going to take and talk about is going to be our predictions for the defensive player of the year. Now, oftentimes you have defensive players have monster years, but that oftentimes does not equate more than what our quarterbacks are currently. It's a quarterback driven league. So usually the MVP is going to take and go to a quarterback or sometimes a running back. But in this case, we're going to take and cover the defensive player of the year. I'm going to go ahead and kick it off first. There's a town called Pittsburgh, and the gentleman's name is TJ Watt. But yeah, listen, I got him ultimately potentially getting upwards of close to 20 sacks. I'm not gonna go out on a limb and say, oh yeah, he's gonna beat the record, because he's on a team with a whole bunch of hitters. With the recent addition of Melvin Ingram on the team, it's gonna open up a lot of lanes and give the team more depth. So there's gonna be other people eating on there as well too. But TJ is a beast. TJ is an absolute dog. I definitely see him hoisting up the Defensive Player of the Year award for the Steelers. What you guys got?
I think that's a smooth pick, man. I could definitely see that. I wouldn't be surprised one bit. Mine, and this might seem like a homer pick, but for the AFC, I'm gonna say Justin Simmons, just because the moves that Denver made in the offseason really allows him to be more of a ball hawk than he already is. He hasn't missed a tackle in like 2 years. I think he has like 1 or 2 missed tackles since he's been in the NFL. And I think the fact that he actually got paid the way he should have got paid is going to put him on more of the media's radar. He's made Pro Bowls, he's made first team all defensive teams, and didn't make a Pro Bowl, which makes no sense. But I feel like the weapons that the Broncos put on defense around him is going to allow him to be a real playmaker. So I would love to see that, man. I think he is the best safety in the NFL, in my opinion. So I think he'll kind of have a solid season. I think he can have a real solid season for the Broncos. And I'd say in the NFC, it's going to be a boring pick, but I'd say Aaron Donald, man. He's unblockable. He's unstoppable. He's going to get you between 15 and 20 sacks as a D tackle, which is absolutely insane, but that's what we come to expect. I think the only reason he wouldn't be in that conversation is if people got voter fatigue like they do with like LeBron in the NBA, with Tom Brady in the year that he was having. Sometimes the media gets voter fatigue and they're just like, oh, this guy's great, so let's give it to somebody else. But if they don't do that, I think that would be a solid pick of the NFC as well.
Yeah, solid picks, Mike. For the AFC, I'm going to go Myles Garrett. I think it's a no-brainer defensive player of the year for the AFC, given that if Jadeveon Clowney can stay healthy, or even if he can give you 75% of an active season, that's going to help that front. But more importantly, what the Browns did in the offseason with the acquisition of John Johnson III, He's going to shore up that secondary, which, as we know, for the Browns was a problem last season. But I've talked about him before. He's going to bring some discipline, and he's going to bring some leadership and some consistency to that secondary. You pair him with, the Denzel Wards, Grant Delpit. We'll see what he has coming off an injury this season, and we'll see what Greedy Williams has. But with that secondary out there locking down receivers for a lot longer, making it harder for those, those tighter windows for those opposing quarterbacks to throw into, expect Myles Garrett to get home a lot this season, and put his name in there for Defensive Player of the Year. NFC, there is no doubt in my mind it's going to be Aaron Donald. I mean, period. Lock it up for the NFL. I don't care. Yes, I'm a Rams fan, so I'm a homer, but bro, Stevie Wonder could see Aaron Donald, best defensive player in the league. Okay, Doug, I hate to tell all your Pittsburgh Steelers fans, all the people that you just got excited because they feel like TJ got snubbed last season, they're going to be hurt all over again because AD is absolutely taking that crap this year. Not only is he going to take it, he's going to put himself in rare air. Matter of fact, he's going to become the first defensive player in the history of the NFL to win the award 4 times. Period. He's the greatest. He wears number 99 for a reason. It's not just his rating in Madden. It's his rating in life. The dude is elite. Period.
Man, well, I'm saying that TJ, if they could allow 3 digits, he'd be 100. That's all I'm saying. All right.
Look, I know that's how him and JJ feel. I saw them tweeting each other back and forth, trying to console each other when they lost. It is what it is, man.
Man, it's gonna be dope, man. It's gonna be dope. And then you even had, guys like Xavier Howard, man. I mean, the guy was just one of the interception spree. I mean, the dude just absolutely went off last year. So
we like Xavier Howard, and no disrespect to him because he's talented. But here's the thing about getting interceptions that nobody wants to talk about because they act like interceptions for a DB is the end all be all stats. You can only get interceptions when they throwing at you, which means guess what? They don't respect you. There's another gentleman in the league. His name is Jalen Ramsey. He also plays for my Rams. How many times do people throw at Jalen?
Not a whole lot. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Jair Alexander. How many times are people throwing to Jair? There's a reason that we don't throw to those sides of the field. It's the same reason why people didn't throw to the side of the field that Deion Sanders was locking down, because you respect that guy. You don't throw it around. So, yeah, he's not going to have as many interceptions as Xavier Howard. But
here's the thing. There was a stat that came out. The last 3 or 4 seasons. I want to say 4 seasons. Xavier Howard has a combined, I think it was like 22 or 24 interceptions. That's more than anybody else in the league. So yes, there's that point that you make. However, the guy could literally play wide receiver if he wanted to, is what I'm trying to say. He has elite, ball hawking skills. His tackling skills are really good as well too. He could defend you in the slot. He could get the deep routes. He is the complete cornerback.
Make no mistake about it. I'm not trying to downplay his talent. I'm not saying that he's not top 5 when it comes to cornerbacks in the league right now. What I'm saying is these other elite cornerbacks that we're talking about don't have as many opportunities per season as him to get those interceptions. Now, granted, you got to capitalize when they do test you. So if you're not doing that, I think there's an argument to be made. And real quick before we get to the next one, I just want, because we were talking defensive player of the year and we were talking sacks and stuff like that, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Al Bubba Baker, the true NFL single season sack holder. I think it was Pro Football Focus did a deep dive going back into the 60s. I think 1960 something. 1978, something like that. But this man, rookie season, defensive tackle for the Detroit Lions, in his rookie year, put up 23 sacks, which is the official NFL single sack record. Now the NFL has not recognized this, but here's the thing: PFF was able to get this footage because the NFL has it, so they have access to it. The record, sacks didn't become a record that they tracked until I think like the 1980s. But they totally have the ability to go back and amend it. They definitely should. Al Bubba Baker should be the single season sack leader right now for the NFL. Congratulations to him. Even if the NFL is not going to give you your flowers, I'm going to give you your flowers, man.
Yes.
And I did want to jump in on the Xavier Howard conversation really quickly, and then I'll stop. But I I get the point of throwing the ball at him, but he takes, for one, he has a very, very low completion percentage against him. You hear the top receivers that we all have in our top 10, and a lot of them have said him over Jalen Ramsey was a toughest matchup for them because of his playmaking ability. So I think teams will throw at him, but I think you're 100% right. But he capitalizes on those opportunities way more than a lot of other corners do. And I think this is going to be the season where we see him on an island where they're not going to throw his direction. I mean, he's had momentum for years, but last year really put a stamp on his ability, like league-wide, where people really realized how much of a dog he is. So I think this is going to be the most boring season for him because they're going to just not look his way and put him in that category where Patrick Peterson used to be, Jalen Ramsey is now, Stephon Gilmore is. I think he's going to have a season like that. He's a dog for sure.
We're looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And then of course, as we very closely wrap up the episode here, we're gonna do our predictions for the offensive rookie of the year. Okay.
Doug, let's just go ahead. Let's do offense and defensive at the same time.
Okay, offense and defense. Okay, I got you. Adrian, go ahead and kick it away from me, sir.
Offensive rookie of the year is going to a young man named Najee Harris. You might know him, running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I expect big things from this young man. He's super humble. He doesn't buy into his own hype. He had put up some impressive tape in college. I expect him to continue to do the same in the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. Pittsburgh has traditionally been a ground and pound offense. And with the consistency of Mike Tomlin still being the head coach there, who very much still believes in ground and pound, I expect him to get plenty of opportunities. I think he's going to have a big season. I'm going to say rookie year, 1,400 yards from scrimmage rushing. Going to be big. We'll see. A lot of that is, kind of dependent upon what that offensive line looks like. Mike Tomlin in the very last episode of Flying Coach podcast with Peter Schrager and Sean McVay, he expressed a lot of confidence in his offensive line, despite the departures that they had this season. He feels very comfortable with what they have. Big Ben stepping in. Everybody says it. I feel better than I have in years. We'll see if he can put it on the field, if he can put it on tape and provide some balance to that offense. Expect Najee Harris to go off. Defensive rookie of the year.
I want
to say Tay Gowan.
What's his name?
Tay Gowan for the Arizona Cardinals, which is crazy, right? Because he's not really that well known. But assuming that Cliff Kingsbury and the staff can figure out how to actually properly utilize anybody in their secondary, I think this kid he's going to be very, very underrated, and especially in a very pass-happy league, I think he has the opportunity to capitalize on quite a few balls this season, especially just in his own division where you have nothing but pass-happy quarterbacks outside of Jimmy Garoppolo, who only throws screens. I think he's going to have an opportunity to really get out there, showcase his skills. He is the ball hawk. He just doesn't have the acclaim of some of these other ones. Sure, I know I'm skipping over some people like Patrick Surtain, who's definitely poised for a big season in that Denver defense. Especially, we talked about the Browns, how Myles Garrett was going to benefit from that, from having a big secondary. I think Patrick Surtain also going to be one of those guys that benefits from having good linebackers, good offensive fronts. Defensive front and stuff like that. So I'm not blind to the fact that those other players exist. I like Tay Gowan. I liked him coming out of college, and I think he has the opportunity to really shine in a unique spot because nobody really knows him.
Love it. For myself, so I'm actually right there with you. I try to offer different opinions, but man, I really, really, really like Najee Harris for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he's going to be a breath of fresh air for that offense. I feel like he's going to be the best running back that they've had since they lost Le'Veon Bell some years back. When Le'Veon Bell was there, I mean, you hand him the ball, he takes a second to look where he's going to go, and then he's gone. It's just amazing feet, amazing footwork. And man, I feel like he's going to be the best thing that's going to happen to Pittsburgh Steelers this offseason, man. I'm really, really excited about him. He's going to be somebody who is going to be a major problem for years to come. And he's with the A-class organization who knows how to take care of players. So I got Najee Harris for my offensive rookie of the year. For my defensive rookie of the year, Man, he was like the bad boy of the draft, man. I really like this guy a lot. Coming out of Penn State, man, I got Micah Parsons of the Dallas Cowboys. I got him taking and coming. Now, this dude, he's not happy to be a Cowboy. He's somebody who's going to be used heavily. They've had a few little injuries the past few years, the Dallas Cowboys, and I feel like he's going to take and add not only so much depth, but he's usable. And he's somebody who, when he's on the field, and I've made this comment before, when he's on the field, it's kind of like a grown man playing with preschoolers, man. It's like unfair. You know, I don't know if you remember playing Madden a couple of years ago, and they used to have what was called Madden cards, you know, and you had cards that would make your player just extra strong or they will automatically fumble. It's like he's on a constant Madden card, man. Like every hit is fun. It's all his highlight reel is probably one of the most fun defensive highlight reels that I've seen in years. Micah Parsons. That's what I got from mine.
A cool note on Micah Parsons. They spotted him at the early training camp. They were actually utilizing him as defensive tackle. He was actually lining up on the line on the interior. I don't know if they'll actually do that during the season, but it's just interesting that they would even put him in that spot. So we'll see what happens. I like the pick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The fact that you said that about Micah Parsons lets me know Dallas still has no idea what they're doing on defense, and they had one of the worst defenses in NFL history last year. I think like the third worst ever. And I think he's going to have opportunities to make plays, but I just don't trust Dallas. I think they're dysfunctional. I think he'll have opportunities to make plays, but I'll just go to another inside linebacker who I think fell way later than he should have and landed in the perfect situation as JOK. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I think he has the potential to have an elite, electric year as a rookie, and I think he has so many weapons around him that he's going to really be in position. Like that defense is going to be a top 5 defense. He's going to be the starting middle linebacker in the top 5 defenses. Myles Garrett, Grant DePelt, Johnson, we talked about Denzel Ward, Jadeveon Clowney. So I think his job is going to just be sit there and clean up, and he'll have like 130 tackles and probably a couple picks because the dude can cover. So that's going to be my pick for defensive rookie of the year. Offensive rookie of the year, I agree with Najee Harris, but just for the sake of us all not three saying the same person, I'm going to say Trevor Lawrence. I think he's going to people love quarterbacks. People love shiny new things. Urban Meyer is a media darling as well. So I feel like he'll get a lot of love down there if he, barring health. And he hasn't had a bunch of injuries, but I do worry behind that line. Their line's not elite. That would be one of the only things I think could stop him. But they got some potential weapons. And I think if he does anything close to what he did his freshman year at Clemson, his rookie year in the NFL, I think he's going to have a hell of a season. I think we could definitely see like some touchdown records getting taken down if he has the season that I think he can have. So that would be my pick outside of Najee.
Well, he definitely looks apart, doesn't he, Mike? He looks like he's ready to accept an award already. Got the long flowing locks, got the Fabio stuff going on. I mean, if nothing else, the dude is pretty. He's ready. He's ready to be on the stage, man.
Sunshine.
Time to tune in. Now another sports center. It's a movie